Welcome to the Test Associates podcast, the show where we sit down with visionaries that are shaping the next era of tech. I'm Vaishnavi, your host, and today we have a brilliant guest joining us. Steve is the head of digital assurance for Expleo UK, who is also our gold partner for the National Software Testing Conference. Steve has spent over 20 years in software delivery and testing, working with organizations across a range of different industries. And right now, Steve is at the forefront of building something really important, moving beyond testing as a function and positioning quality as a genuine driver for business value, helping organizations build real confidence in their digital change, not just through technology, but through smarter, more integrated approaches to quality. Welcome to the podcast, Steve. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Vaishnavi. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Before we actually get into it, would you like to share anything else to our audience that I might have missed out on?
Yes, I started my career in telecoms
Hmm.
and then moved into consulting across many different sectors in software delivery and testing.
Yeah.
As you say, I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I'm feeling every single one of those years right now.
Hmm.
But that also means that I've seen and experienced a lot within the industry during that time.
Okay.
Um, when we started using automation to
Yeah.
test software, I
Yeah.
thought, wow, the future is here.
Yeah.
And then when we started integrating automation into delivery pipelines and expanding automation across the delivery cycle, I thought again, yes, wow, the future is here.
Yeah.
But now we've got, AI agents producing software code, producing applications, and helping to actually test software.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, what's next?
Yeah.
It feels a bit like we're currently without limits. Um, and as you said, as head of digital assurance for Expleo,
Yeah.
um, and because we're a global uh, delivery consultancy
Mm-hmm.
um, across both engineering and digital transformation, I still get to be involved in multiple domains, including energy utilities, banking, financial services,
Yeah.
manufacturing, defense. Um, whether that's delivering full scale digital transformation or delivering something really niche and solving a problem for one of our clients. So it keeps me looking a lot younger than my 20 years would have you believe.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, it just means that you're working on something that you're genuinely passionate about. You
Yeah.
mentioned that
Glad,
AI
glad you
obviously.
laughed there.
You mentioned about AI and obviously about there being no limit. I wonder if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. But obviously that's like a separate conversation altogether.
You
Before we
can spend
actually
all day on that.
exactly, I know, right? Before we actually get into the questions, I firstly wanted to say that we are really thrilled to have you on board as a gold partner for the National Software Testing Conference this year. I want to try and understand what motivated the decision for coming on board as a gold partner, and what was it about the conference that really felt like the right fit for Expleo?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, firstly, the National Software Testing Conference is a really great event. It brings people together from all levels across the industry to share their experiences and insights on what's relevant in the industry today. We've been to the event a number of times over the past few years and have come away with some really great connections, um, ideas, and really useful insights on how others are dealing with the same types of challenges that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Secondly, we want to be there to answer and contribute to solving that what's next question. Um, at Expleo, a strong part of our heritage in the UK is software quality. We were SQS, software quality systems, before becoming Expleo. So it's the type of event that, as a business, we absolutely want to be attending and contributing to showcase what we are doing in terms of innovation, capability development, and new ways of working in the digital assurance space.
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, it's for those same reasons as well, that it's the type of event that I personally want to attend and want my consultants to attend, to network, share knowledge, and connect with new people across the industry. So it absolutely made sense for us to come and sponsor the event this year and take the opportunity to deliver a couple of conference talks, a really cool workshop on digital accessibility, and be there with our stand to provide some demos and connect with all of the attendees.
Lovely. We are absolutely thrilled to have you on board and really excited to work with you guys together for many more years to come. You've mentioned digital assurance, and that's one of the terms that I want to dig more into because it's a term that we keep hearing more and more of. As head of digital assurance, what's the distinction between digital assurance and traditional testing, and why does the difference actually matter to companies today?
Yeah, so I've been asked this a few times recently, and it's a really good question. So why digital assurance and not quality assurance or quality engineering or just testing services? So previously, when we've spoken about testing, when people think about testing, they tend to think about it as a specific activity that tended to be at the end of delivery and focused on whether something worked or not, mainly from a functional perspective. And while that model has served the industry well and is developed significantly from just testing at the end of delivery to integrating quality engineering into the delivery lifecycle, it's still seen as a validation of whether something works or not. And in a modern industry where delivery organizations are delivering continuously and in highly integrated environments, often in regulated environments, in the case of energy and utilities and banking and financial services, the question is less about whether software just works or not, and more about, as a business, can I trust this application or system that I am delivering rapidly and changing rapidly at scale and under real world conditions. And for me, that's where digital assurance comes in. So while testing is an activity, an important activity, and a necessary phase of the delivery lifecycle, digital assurance is about much more than testing.
Mhm.
It embeds quality throughout the delivery lifecycle and aligns to assuring business outcomes. So it becomes less about simply does it work and more about can I trust this application, and solves questions like does my new digital product actually increase customer engagement and satisfaction as I want it to, or am I seeing reduced operational risk from it, or has migrating my cloud platform given me the cost efficiencies that I expect? So in that sense, it is about business value and encompasses, as I said, a lot more than just testing. And I think it kind of centers on three main aspects. So testing, absolutely, and quality engineering, as I said, that's the foundation of it. But it is more about the consultative nature of what we do as testers. So helping organizations to understand their and develop their approach to quality, embedding quality into every aspect of the delivery lifecycle, and validating as early as possible
Yeah.
against the ideas, the requirements, the user stories, and then also the the what's next question coming in as well. So, what is the next generation of quality, software quality, digital assurance that we can bring into this to help our clients build stable, reliable platforms? So I think digital assurance or assurance of digital outcomes is becoming more important than ever due to the pace and complexity of change. Businesses are deploying various different types of technology, including AI, AI-based products and services, both internally and for their customers as well. So in that respect, AI assurance becomes a really important part of digital assurance as well.
Yeah. Yeah, with respect to AI assurance, obviously there's there's a lot of like questions regarding trust and confidence as well that I assume would come up in boardroom conversations. How important do you think it is, and why is it becoming so critical, not just for tech teams, but also for business leaders specifically, when it comes to AI assurance?
Yeah. I think AI assurance is absolutely critical and will become more so over the next few years. You know, everyone wants to use AI, and rightly so, to gain operational efficiencies, and people are using it in their day-to-day lives, right?
Yeah.
The adoption of AI is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Um, and as I say, people are looking for efficiency gains wherever possible across the business. But I think in some cases, organizations may be rushing, and that means they're deploying AI faster than they can govern it.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates risk as well, that maybe hasn't quite been assessed or evaluated.
Yeah.
And it's not just functional risk. A tool or service may seem to work, but is it giving you the right results? Is it giving you biased results? Are the results easily explainable?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in that sense, organizations really need to be focused on building an assurance framework for AI tools, services, and solutions that not only tests the model that's being deployed, but assures it long term. So, AI assurance for me is not just about a testing framework, but it's about long term monitoring to assure against things like model drift and regulatory compliance over time, particularly, as I say, where these solutions are being deployed into industries such as the energy and utilities industry or bank and financial services that are heavily regulated. Um, and the key question is, how do organizations effectively govern the AI solutions that they're implementing at pace before it creates risks that they can't easily fully understand, explain, or control. And I think the rush and eagerness to use AI also creates another problem in the form of shadow AI implementation.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have someone in the organization who has a subscription to an LLM, for example, and has created their own utility and is using it as part of their day-to-day work, but is not necessarily regulated or governed within the organization. It's got no design, no explainability, and it can grow. And much like shadow IT grows within an organization, and with the EU AI Act coming into full force in August, I think it is, with fines of up to about 35 million euros,
Mm-hmm.
organizations really need to focus on assuring the AI solutions that they're deploying, and making sure that they audit and implement continuous monitoring so that they stay safe, essentially.
Yeah, lovely. I mean, we have organized the AI Awards like just a few weeks ago, and we are aware as organizers itself that it has transformed so many industries, and people are applying AI into everything that you can probably think of. I want to try and understand from your perspective, what does it look like on the ground in testing and quality engineering? Is AI something that you see more in your teams as an incremental improvement, or is this something more of a fundamental shift in how testing is actually delivered?
The answer is both, really. Um,
Mhm.
we are seeing on one end of the scale a fundamental shift towards agentic AI implementation for software testing and quality and digital assurance. And then the other end of the scale, marginal gains, efficiencies, and experimentation. In terms of what my teams are doing from a digital assurance perspective, we have built and implemented large platforms that agentically support and deliver testing. So from natural language implementation of requirements to definition and breaking down of those requirements to user stories, and then breaking down those user stories to tests, test scripts, and
Yeah.
then agentically importing those scripts into an automation platform so that you are orchestrating the solution rather than just being involved in it. And then on the other end of the scale, we are building AI assistants to help with everyday manually intensive tasks such as validating requirements against specific themes and again creation of tests and just a host of other use cases that make our lives easier and take a lot of the burden out of testing. As I said, testing used to be really manually intensive, but as testers, we also want to make our lives easier and automate as much of it as possible. I've been to a few conferences already this year where there's been quite a few differing opinions on AI in testing and what AI can and can't do,
Mhm.
ranging from AI will never be able to fully test a solution to AI is going to take our jobs. It's neither, because yes, AI can already fully test a solution, but there has to be, and I don't like the phrase human in the loop. I prefer human in control.
Mhm.
So a human in control to really apply the rigor, the domain expertise,
Mhm.
um, and the human intelligence to check the results and validate the results against the expected outcomes. I don't think AI is going to take away testing jobs,
Yeah.
but people need to adapt and grow with the technology that's at their fingertips and really understand how it can be leveraged to make testing more efficient and effective.
Yeah. And how can people actually do that? Like, how do you think the role of testers is actually evolving? And what do you think are the skills that are going to matter the most?
Yeah, so I mean, a few years ago, we
Yeah.
were in a position where we were looking for real hybrid testers who could do everything. We were looking for testers who could code, build frameworks, as well as really understand the the domain, the industry domain that they're operating within, understand the applications, understand the processes, the outcomes. And I think we're still there with AI. More important than ever is the understanding of the business domain and the experience in the business domain and what the applications and solutions are trying to achieve. I think where we have more autonomous systems at our fingertips for testing, the role of the hybrid tester is becoming more and more important. So not necessarily building the framework, but adapting the framework and leveraging it to the the right solution.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Wow. I mean, it's definitely something that's going on in every sector of the business, isn't it? Where people think that, oh my gosh, AI is going to take our jobs. And I've had so many conversations with some of our other guests on the podcast with a very similar question. And everybody keeps on saying the same thing that no, it's not going to take your job. You just have to evolve along with it and learn more skills that would help you, yeah, take AI as well into account. But that's such a good perspective, Steve. Thank you.
I mean, there's been a lot of different analogies made recently. Le changing from a member of the orchestra to being the conductor. Um, and one of our conference talks for the National Software Testing Conference is about how a human tester can keep pace with AI. And I
Mhm.
think it's less about keeping pace, um, and the question is, why be in the race at all? Why not be the coach or the organizer of the race? Why not decide the starting lineup, who hands off to who, be the person who starts the race and then judges
Yeah.
the fish at the finishing line?
Mhm.
Um, and that's an analogy that I like to apply to how testers are now using and being involved in testing with in the
Yeah.
age of AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, without giving too much away to our audience, obviously we've got the talk for that at NSTC this year. But thank you so much again, Steve. It was wonderful having this chat with you and just learning more about your experience and your perspective on AI and testing. I'm really excited for the audience and the attendees to learn more about it at your talk at NSTC. But thank you again so much for your time today.
Really looking forward to being there. And thank you, Vishnavi. Really good to talk to you.